Tonight on First Tuesday.
It's a very historic decision that we now are going to have women going to sea, which is perhaps as historic a decision as when we changed from sail to steam.
The end of a naval tradition.
Check port.
Port clear.
Very good.
The first women officers to train with men in the Royal Navy. Good evening. What happens when women go to sea? Well, despite the fun on a bunk incident, which so entertained the nation recently, the business of integrating women into life at sea is one that the Navy takes seriously. Until February of last year, the Women's Royal Naval Service, the WRENS, was shore-based and restricted. Now women can become ships' captains, Harrier pilots, admirals if they want, and, unlike women in the Army and the Air Force, will play a full fighting role in wartime. First Tuesday followed the first male and female officers' training course to see how the Navy is surviving this shock, to see what happens when Britannia waives the rules.
Colour party! Ho!
For nearly a century, Dartmouth has trained men to become officers in the Royal Navy.
Colours, sir! Make it so! Sound the alert!
Today, a naval tradition will change, as 237 men start a 26-week course of officer training. For the first time in the history of the Navy, they will be joined by 18 women.
We want to run next to the station, look, see, maybe this person looks like they're over Dartmouth.
Well, just remember St Vincent.
Right, so should we tell them there?
Dump your gear on the van and then get onto the bus and you'll get called out at the other end.
All right then,
Okay.
thanks.
I think it's nice actually to sort of forge a pathway to be the first ones to do it. I want to be a part of the Royal Navy. I want to go to sea and I want to spend time at sea. So I want to prove that I am a Royal Naval officer, not someone who just sits in a classroom.
It's a very historic decision. We now are going to have women going to sea, which is perhaps as historic a decision as when we changed from sail to steam. It is a very, very large and important moment in the Navy's history.
I'm not 100% certain. I think it's quite a good idea, and I'm sure lots of other people do. There are obviously some quarters who are opposed to the idea. I wonder if we were to go into a combat situation, whether the ships with women on would actually be placed in that situation. There is always the protective instinct that males tend to have, and with women there, it might just distract them slightly from their tasks.
When I say come to attention, you bring your feet together. So Hawk Division, ho! Move to the right in threes, right, turn. Up on the left foot, by the right, quick, march, right wheel.
Obviously, the college and the fleet itself have had to bring in some rules. The sort of ruling that we have is that no male may enter a female's cabin and vice versa, unless it is for reasons of security, so for emergencies they can go in, and for certain duty reasons, if their professional duties require them to liaise but socially, no. No male goes into a female cabin, no female goes into a male cabin.
Your combat boots, most important thing. 2 pairs of socks. Make sure they fit, because you're going to be in them rather a lot over the next few weeks. So anyway, I'll leave you in peace now.
Officer Cadet Prendergast.
My name's Sally Ann Prendergast. I was born in a place called Tredegar, which is South Wales, on the 26th of February, 1969. I then moved to Mid Wales, to a place called Llandrindod Wales, which most people can't pronounce. And there I did the majority of my education before going on to Aberystwyth to read a degree in international politics and strategic studies. My hobbies are going to the theatre, playing the piano, and generally artsy things like that. Apart from that, I like swimming and aerobics, and mainly squash, but I'm not very good at it, so I'm not going to offer to play. That's all, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Eastwood, please. Miss, sorry, Miss Eastwood. So I've got a mid here.
They are assessed from the first time that we see them. You obviously get a gut reaction within the first couple of days as to whether people are going to make it, whether they're okay, or what their problems are going to be.
Yes.
If you're out at sea on a ship and that goes down, then you should be able to swim from the ship to the life raft. So the swimming test is necessary.
Big effort. Good, OK, drop it, we go.
You can do it. Keep telling yourself you're going to do it this time. You're going to get that break.
Washed away a bit, didn't it?
That was close.
Washed away a bit, didn't it?
Nearly.
Are you keeping your eye?
The Wrens in particular have always prided themselves on being the most feminine of the 3 services. They've got a very smart uniform, they wear their court shoes rather than boots and denims all day, and we would like to preserve that image as much as we possibly can.
You look lovely.
Very fetching, aren't they?
They're gradually getting their kit sorted out, although being a slightly different shape from normal sailors, or from male sailors, I should say, they are having some problems with getting the kit.
It's supposed to soften them, and so they sort of mould to our feet, so we wore them wet yesterday, which was a bit uncomfortable, but they're not too bad at the moment. I mean, they can give you dreadful blisters, and so it's very important to take care of your feet while we're here.
My purpose today is to welcome you to Dartmouth and to the Navy. I'm very pleased to have you here, and I hope that you very soon will be equally pleased to be with us. I'd also like to congratulate you on your choice of career. A wiser choice, perhaps, than the fellow that decided he wanted to be a dentist in China, to discover there that umpteen billion people are paid to keep their mouths closed. But you have, in fact, chosen to join what is, in my book, one of the finest fighting services in the world.
No. Oh. You touched it, did you? Yeah. Can you get it? Will you get it next time, if I give you one more go?
Yeah.
I'll give you one more go. You're thinking about it too much. Let's go for it. Come on.
You also need determination and stamina to go that little bit further than you ever thought you could. There will be many occasions here where you feel like giving up.
OK, try him out then, never mind. Try him out.
They haven't, you know, they've emphasised from the start that you're not going to get special treatment just because you're a girl. It's fair enough. I mean, it wouldn't be fair on the boys if they said, oh, well, you know, you're a girl, so you don't have to do this. You know, you have to do it.
Come on, you should be running now. We're adrift.
You need to be personally well organised.
Come on, you Rich, move yourselves.
You got to learn to be able to arrive on time at a certain thing, ready to do whatever you're required to do, and also be ready for the next thing you're required to do.
Stop the giggling, get moving. You're 5 minutes adrift, almost, right? But the majority of people were here trained to, which means it's possible to achieve it.
Good luck to you all. And above all, enjoy your time at Dartmouth and in the Navy.
The first Monday that they're here starts with a bang at about 5:30 and take them out for some physical exercise and then they start the working day.
It's on the right. No, it's right up to the end, but and then
Stick the short one in there. And this one goes there, doesn't it? Yeah. It goes.
Oh, do that way. Do it facing you. It's the wrong way around.
Naval tradition is that when every time you step on the quarterdeck of a ship, you salute it. And of course it's very important that we do a few of these things because we do have some very quaint traditions in the Navy. And while we may salute absolutely nothing, you find people when they come back after they've been away for 50 years, they instinctively, as they walk through the quarterdeck, they salute it again. And I intend that it should go on.
In the Navy, the cocktail party, abbreviated to CTP, is usually held on the first evening after the arrival in a new port. The aim of the cocktail party is to introduce a Royal Naval ship to local dignitaries, British diplomatic staff and residents, and to represent the United Kingdom's interests abroad. And often as a bonus, the naval attaché may include some suitable young unattached ladies or gentlemen on the guest list.
Mr. Lodge, is that pole going to drop?
I've applied for a medium career commission, which is till I'm 38, and hopefully they'll encourage me to grow up a bit, because I am 18 and I've got a lot of growing up still to do.
It's not... I don't think the lashing's going to be strong enough.
Maybe if you push them inwards so that they're jammed against each other and... How
about use a close hitch
instead? Again.
Round the edges.
Rolling
hitch.
I think it needs to be raised so it's raised up. I wouldn't want to see a flag like that, would you?
Do not press alcoholic drinks on guests who may well have to drive afterwards. You never know, the Chief of Police may well be there. And never, never attempt to lace a pretty young lady's drinks.
Is that freestanding there?
Yes.
All right. Right team, fall in. Well done.
Is that a much better flag? Better than being on the ground, wasn't it?
Good morning.
Good morning. Vice Admiral Jan Havadroza.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can I introduce you to Midshipman Balhetchit, who will look after you?
Good morning.
Good morning, Vice Admiral Abershona.
My name is Havadroza.
Havadroza. Sorry,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Can I take you through to the cocktail evening at the inn here?
Certainly. Thank you very much.
What did you do for a job, sir?
Are you going to ask me any interesting questions?
Do you enjoy your job, sir?
I thoroughly enjoy my job.
Would you like a coffee or anything?
I would love a coffee.
Right, okay. Do you want to go and get the...
How do I take my coffee?
How do you take it, sir?
I take my coffee NATO standard.
NATO standard. NATO standard.
What is NATO standard?
Can you explain what NATO standard is?
NATO standard is milk with 2 sugar.
That is where you brief the team. Simple, isn't it? I do not want to say it after this exercise. I do not want to be saying it again. Yet every time this morning I have said, stand in a prominent position, haven't I? Haven't I? Yes, sir. Right, now let's think about it. Let's engage the brains.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Can you take this one of those?
Can I take you
Yes,
through
please,
our coffee
please
morning,
do.
sir?
Are you in charge of this or not?
This is a fairly artificial event in a sense, but it's an opportunity for them to realise that being a naval officer is not just shouting yo-ho things, maritime noises. You also have a representative and a social role to play.
So you're going to be a pilot, are you?
Yes, sir.
You've done your Biggin Hill?
Yes, sir.
And that was all right?
Yes, sir, went fine. I did that about January.
Helen had been in the service for 3 years.
They have to learn the basics of being polite and greeting people and introducing people and circulating and generally being socially competent.
Take a look at these three. Which of them is the naval officer? Right. I would hope that the traditional image that you have of a naval officer is number 2. What we aim to do this afternoone is to offer guidance and advice on how your personal qualities might be marketed through the medium of good dress sense. Should one have turn-ups or not? Is a new tweed eternal or eccentric? Should a suit be single or double-breasted? Why you never wear grey shoes or white socks? The next rig that we're going to put on is the famous dog robbers. The basic ingredients of dog robbers are a tweed jacket or a blazer, a collar and tie, smart plain trousers with no weird pockets, and sensible shoes. The blazer-based version is the more formal of the two, and is good for sporting tours and events. And for the ladies, you will note a smart version, which often consists of a silk blouse and skirt, and a less formal version with a jumper replacing the blouse.
There are 3 main reasons why we carry out drill on a parade ground. First, it installs self-discipline. We need to be disciplined if we are to give orders and expect orders to be carried out. Secondly, it's an ideal vehicle to exercise your leadership skills. Thirdly, it promotes cleanliness and smartness in your appearance. That is all I have to say for the time being.
On the caution word of command, a sharp brace up, and then on the executive word of command, left foot goes into the right foot, arms back to the correct position of attention. Pass. Ho! Sharper. Elbows in tight to side, leave your trousers alone.
Stop fidgeting. Stand rigid to attention and listen to your instructor.
I will show a demonstration with the 2 upper yardies.
I wasn't feeling too bright at all this morning, and they actually say that it's an offence for you to be sick on the parade ground, and I was actually wondering whether I could get my hat pin out of my hat quick enough and sort of be sick in my hat.
Stand at ease. Stand still, don't look at me. Are you included in this group? Are you in St. Vincent Division?
Yes, Sergeant.
Look at me when I'm speaking to you. That's the only time you look at me. Is that clear?
Yes, Sergeant.
Good.
This is an arm. It goes up there, and we move away. Close your fist like I taught you 5 minutes ago.
As soon as it's there, it is. At the order. Quick march out. And then we continue swinging in manner.
When you come down on Tuesday, I want Hawk Division to be the best division on parade ground. And it will, won't it, Hawk?
Yes, sir, Sergeant.
Sorry, Hawk?
Yes, sir, Sergeant. On the command ready or a range being ordered, check the safety catches at safe, the change lever is at R, your sights are at 200, cock the weapon and then place the butt in the shoulder. Everybody, with an empty magazine. Load!
I don't think they do understand the reality of warfare. I don't think anyone understands it until they've been in it. But I think they should get it into the back of their minds that one day it might be the real thing. I mean, a lot of people say that, you know, when women go into combat, they do have a different sort of emotional approach. Perhaps women are more sensible. They don't like shooting each other and killing each other so much, and there may be something in that. But I have no reason to believe that they won't perform just as well as the men.
The reason why they wanted a missile for the launch of Britain's nuclear weapons was that the V-bombers were a vulnerable target on the ground. In exercises, the V-bombers took about 25 minutes to scramble before getting off the ground and being able to launch a strike at the USSR. However, the development of Soviet medium-range ballistic missiles in the 1950s put Britain within 4 to 5 minutes flying time of an incoming strike. Now, the problem should be obvious. By the time everybody's running around in their flying caps trying to get their nozzles plugged in and chocks away, Britain's been reduced to a radioactive desert.
Change the position of your right foot.
There.
Hand over hand.
Well, there's lunch at the end of that rope.
Okay, spin round then. Spin round. Keep both legs on the rope. Decide which hand and which hand you're leg you're going to keep on the rope. Take the other hand and the other leg off the rope. Off the rope. Right, left hand over the top. Left hand over the top. Pull up. Left arm straight. Left hand over the top of the rope. Pull up. Drive up. Drive up. Come on, almost there. Almost there. Almost there. Almost there. Come on, drive up. Push up with your right hand. Push up with your right hand. Stand up.
Everybody has a laugh and a joke, I seem to be making a fool of myself by getting things wrong more than anybody else.
Boys were all very protective of Miss Prendergast, whether or not the novelty might wear off of looking after
the girls.
But she didn't particularly like the fact they were looking after her all the time. I think she wanted just to get on with it.
No.
But what about power of command? I've got to do this, giggle. She sort of says things in a slightly apologetic way and doesn't feel comfortable giving orders.
It's like someone said, if you don't laugh at some points, you're just going to cry and not stop. You mustn't laugh too much and take everything as a joke, but obviously if you make a mistake, just pick yourself up and look back and then think, well, nothing you can do about it, you've got to just try and get it right.
Cabin H14 ready for ground, sir. Officer Cadet Massey reporting.
Right, Officer Cadet Massey, lead the way.
Sir.
They're gradually making the transition. There are some of them who still look like absolute sacks of spuds. Despite the fact that they press their uniform and it is clean, still look almost dishevelled. And there's not a lot that we can do about that apart from keep on at them.
I think the general message in here really is that I think all the shoes are going to need a lot more work, and these, they've been someone's been playing football in them.
Okay, sir.
If you can pass that message around. I mean, it's the first set of ceremonial divisions are on Saturday, which is 2 days away, so I think the shoes are going to need a bit of work on. Generally, the kit's okay, and the drawers and the rest of the cabin is tidy enough, but definitely shoes, I think.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Right.
Is your inspection complete, sir?
Certainly is.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Coming from the lower deck, she's streets ahead of everybody else. She knows all the ways and means of the service. She knows all the terminology. So she should have no problems whatsoever.
Right, welcome on board. I'm Lieutenant Tim Lowe, Captain of the Sandpiper. Who's had some form of navigation experience before? Anyone? Yachty? R&R. Okay, good. If you are going to be ill, please use a bucket. Don't lean over the ship's side. You lose your balance and you could quite easily topple over.
The course is 040.
040. You want the radio mast?
Yeah.
040. I don't think so.
It must be everything upside down then.
And church tower is 330.
Wow.
Way out.
Okay, let's go out and try again. It's not even worth trying to sort that one out.
You've got to go back yet. Lean over the chart. Putting your fix on, and you surge and you go, hit the chart table. That's right. You're trying to hang on the chart table, put a decent fix on, bang, you get the next one.
Rem Prendergast is having fun. Every time I look at her, it's smile, smile. Poor thing.
She knows the port signal deck quite well.
She does.
I had a lot of problems with seasickness. I mean, I felt absolutely awful this morning. Really, really bad. I mean, I've never been on quite a few ships and I've never had seasickness problems before. But just today, on this one, you know, I can't believe how awful I felt.
Come on, stick together!
We are trying to train people to be junior officers in the Royal Navy. We're not trying to train them to be commandos or to be army soldiers at all. But this place offers us the opportunity to put them under stress, when they're tired, when they're hungry sometimes, when they've got a lot of things on their plate that they're having to think about.
You will get some people who go around and say, it's cold, it's wet, oh, I don't like this, oh, I'm not on another hill, and whinging all the time. So they tend to go round again.
I think it's rather nice if, say, on Dartmoor, a girl bothers with her appearance, she perhaps puts on some lipstick. It just enhances the feminine image of the Wrens, which we do hope that we can retain.
The exercise is very physical, especially being with the lads. It's very hard trying to keep up with them sometimes. My poor stumpy little legs don't quite go as fast as theirs. But your sort of strengths and weaknesses will definitely show through after 48 hours of trying to be a team together under such a lot of pressure.
It's got rice in it, it's got biscuits in it, it's got peas in it. It's a grass, I think. And that's about it.
What we need to do is to have 2 sentries all night that will be responsible for the camp security and for the shakes in the morning. Okay. What our main task at the moment to sort out is that we have to provide an observation point for which I have a grid reference, and we have to be there by 2200 and remain there until 23:30.
I read Daily Orders on Monday.
What did it say?
It said, no one serves on a ship, they serve in a ship.
Absolutely
For
right.
7.5 years I've been saying on a ship.
Now you know the right dance.
That's where you learn to ride a horse. At the polo club. At the polo. The PLTs, I enjoyed doing those and sleeping out in bivvy overnight. It was good fun.
Your throwing line and your 2 staves, neat and tidy over there. And then I want whoever's got the flares to take them out of this kit and give them in to me.
Hospital, Orny.
Okay, thanks.
How many casualties you got in there, mate?
Well, I've got 2 casualties. I want the other nurse off the transport and into the blue Land Rover straight away. Right. I want the back of the blue Land Rover cleared out and ready to go with me.
Well done, the boy!
Well done.
Great.
When you've got a bunch of lads going through this kind of thing, it's all drive, 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 macho. Whereas when you've got the girls in as well, there's a different form of morale, which I think works good.
She's probably encouraging coming up the last hill and they're nagging and shouting at you. And
urging you on and telling you to work even harder.
It's very, very effective when you're just about to die and some girl rushes up to you and says, "Come on, Sean, get in." Suddenly find some more energy somewhere.
The very good and the very bad come to my notice. So I see much more of those that we have worries about. They have to come in front of me so that I have to tell them that we must withdraw them from training or tell them that if they don't do better, we'll have to consider very seriously their future.
Shepherd. Okay, next to you when you're ready, up you come.
Miss Prendergast joined us in September this year. Initially, she started off quite well. She was identified fairly early on as being slightly unmilitary, but this was natural for somebody coming straight from university. By half-term, we had identified that she was, in fact, very weak in the leadership field. She couldn't actually give basic naval orders to get them to come to attention, turn into line. She couldn't salute properly, things like that.
Okay, get ready. I'll shout fire, fire, fire. Number 3, bring your team down.
You will get a lot of sort of pressure put on you, and you have to be, in some ways, a very, very strong person to cope with it. You have to have the attitude that it's something you definitely want to do, and that nothing is going to make you give up.
Have you got air in it? Okay.
Turn around. The leadership qualities basically stems from a lack of confidence in what she is actually trying to achieve. She has no crispness of manner. She is capable, she's an intelligent young lady, she is capable of planning and briefing. However, when things start going wrong, she seems unable to react to changing circumstances and take charge of a team.
I mean, it was something that's quite hard when you used to sort of perhaps giving your authority in a different manner to the way the Navy or any military organisation would like it. I mean, there is an emphasis on being, you know, a dominant character.
It was decided that she should be placed on captain's warning for character and leadership as a mark that we are not happy, but she should be allowed to proceed to the Dartmouth training squadron, where she would then be in a different environment. She has been working hard over the last few weeks, and hopefully she will then continue with the development that she has made until she has reached a satisfactory level of leadership.
Being thrown out is a big worry. You know, you get to a point where you feel, I'm not getting on, I'm not doing as well as I should be doing.
At the end of term, Sally Prendergast joined 15 male cadets on captain's warning.
Steering 270, both telegraphs half ahead. 8-8 revolution set for 12 knots. Steering in hand starboard system. Guide is HMS Bristol, course 270, speed 12 knots.
Right.
Right, look down that bearing and look down the bearing that she should be on.
This is 276. Decrease.
This voyage comes at the second term of the young officers training in the Royal Navy. They come to sea with us to learn what it's like to live and work in a warship at sea.
Down the bearing again that you want her to be.
Yeah.
Down there.
So I want her
Right.
there.
We can't do anything about her course and speed. We want her there, not where she is there. 350, I think we'll be fine.
Steer 350.
Steer 350.
So you're doing two things at once now. Getting her to draw left and the range to decrease.
It's quite a responsibility to know that you've got 7,000 tons worth of ship that are literally in your charge and you are the one that has control.
Check port.
Port clear.
Very good.
It is very difficult and I didn't particularly enjoy it. It was quite a shock to the system to have to do it. But at the end of the day, I was glad to have made it. I don't think I did that bad a job.
Yes, you do.
Mr. Note attack has the call.
Very good. How did you think you did?
Not too bad, sir. Better than I thought I would.
I think you did jolly well. The first time.
Yeah, pointers aligned.
Pointers are aligned, Roger.
STRSCC.
They've been unsettled by women coming into their environment. They've thought up till now, in quite a few cases, only men could do this job. It's their job. There's a great pride of ownership over their work, and that's very understandable. Now, there are women doing it, and some of them aren't so certain. And they feel that the girls, in some cases, are getting a softer time. But sometimes there'll be a situation where one of the girls cannot physically manage to do one of the things that a great big 6'4" 13 stone, 14 stone sailor can do.
When we first came on board, they were a bit wary and they thought, well, you know, we were going to get away with blue murder. And I mean, there are still those who hold that opinion. But I would say that they've seen us work, and many of them say that we're far better than they expected and that we actually do get down and do the job. And if they ask us to do something that's dirty or getting your hands dirty, we're not afraid to do it, which they thought we would be.
There are people like myself that have spent many years at sea who do find it very different. I won't say we find it awkward or hard, but it's certainly very different, having long blonde hair standing next to you as opposed to a crop.
Before they actually came on board, we were given a lot of warning that they would be actually arriving, and given a few briefs about how we should act. Like, we can't walk up the passageways without a long enough towel on, obvious things like that that might cause offence.
Separate arrangements obviously were made for the heads and the bathrooms on board, but in other ways we tried to ensure that everybody was treated equally.
Very special daughter.
And as far as the behaviour of people on board was concerned, we just followed a very basic no touching rule so that people knew where they stood.
Oh, you could do it, put it on your cummerbund. Yeah. Put it in the centre of your cummerbund.
It was spotted whilst we were taking showers that there was a mirror that appeared underneath the bulkhead, but it was very soon stamped upon.
Yes, there will be things that will happen. There'll be relationships formed, but very few. The girls haven't come to sea to look for relationships, and neither have the men.
There is a very fine line between being friendly with the ratings and being a rating yourself. You always have to maintain that slight distance. It's very important. You might end up as their divisional officer. You don't know.
I think the ratings on board had trouble trying to adjust to us being here. Things like doing fitness training on board. The first time we arrived, there was hardly anybody there. But the second day, there were lots of extra people around on the upper deck watching us doing the circuit training.
Stand straight, head up, Gus, don't look down, look up. Good abdomens, come on, keep going. Alternate knee to elbow. Come on, work hard, boys, keep driving. That's good. Change, up we go again. Straight in there, good star jump. Come on, up we go, don't worry about that. Change, last exercise. Last one, come on. And stand up, walk around.
It's the very first experience for most of them of going to sea. As well as learning just that very basic part of life, they're also learning what it's like to live and work as a rating, as a sailor in a ship, so that they can then go on more effectively to become the officers who will lead and manage those sailors in the future.
Well, I think a lot of the, for starters, a lot of the older ratings, senior rates and that, are pretty lenient to them. They tend to think of them purely as females, not as sailors. So they get away with easier jobs. A lot of the harder jobs, blokes get detailed off for, and the females get the easier jobs.
All you do is you press a little bit with that one and you guide it with that hand. Okay? Yeah. So like that. That's it, lovely.
With a magazine, load. Safety case to safe. Take out the magazine.
There is still a novelty factor in women being in a position to fight a war, and we do take more notice of women being hurt than men. There'd be something wrong with our society if we weren't more concerned because of a woman's natural role in society and in the family. But I still believe that for those women who wish to, the opportunity should be there. And if they wish to go to war, if sadly war has to happen, then they should have that opportunity.
Front HE, sir. Loud explosion heard. Suggests submarine has been hit.
The submarine is assessed. Subsurface warning now yellow. All positions may now relax anti-flash. Relax anti-flash. Right, so do you have any questions on that?
When I decided to join the Navy, one of the questions you're asked is, would you be prepared to kill someone? But you also have to consider, would you be prepared to be killed yourself? Are you willing to put your life on the line? And I certainly think I was before I decided to join up. So although we're not very much a part of the Gulf War, we're not in a hot spot, I'm certainly quite happy to go to war.
One cable to the wheelover, so to starboard to new course of 307, remaining in the centre of the channel. The minimum depth on that leg will be 25 metres.
Next, scan.
Merci. Bonjour. Bonjour. Un bonjour, un bonjour et mes respects. Et puis je vous présente commandant Lockwood.
Et mes chers camarades.
De Paris.
Bien. Et vous parlez français?
Oui.
My English is not so good.
Oh. Excellent, amiral, excellent. Et aussi, mademoiselle Oz. Puis-je vous présenter, mademoiselle Oz est mon adjoint pour le jour. Elle est un étudiant ingénieur.
Très heureux.
Smile, you're on vogue.
Get on with it. Oh, it's David Bailey. Front end centre rank. One pace, step back, march.
I've had a half-term report written on me, and I'm still on captain's warnings, but I've made improvements, so they're looking possibly to take me off captain's warnings at the end of term.
Stand at ease. Vision to vision, ho!
She's making very good progress. She's entered into all her training with lots of enthusiasm. She's got lots of spirit. I think she's doing well. In fact, that's a feature that all the ladies have shown, a great deal of enthusiasm for their training, and that's what's really impressed the ship's company and made them all the more keen to help the ladies on board with their training.
They've seen the thing they can bend senior rates and officers around their little fingers by being nice to them and get away with little easy jobs. Quite a few of them try that.
There was a lot of apprehension from the ratings on board towards us coming aboard. I think it's an age-old tradition that men have thought of women being on board as an ill omen. They've always treated the women as women and not as an equal. And in time, that will wear away, and we will all be the same.
Take orders from the wife, take orders from the women. As Taff said, I think it is going to be, especially with the Wren officers, it's going to be slightly different. I mean, with the male officers, you've accepted it from the start that the males are the officers, but now women coming through as officers on board ships, I think it's going to take quite a lot of getting used to.
I did work very hard on Bristol, and I was quite enthusiastic about what I was doing. So I went to see the captain on board ship, and he said that he was very pleased with my performance, and I was removed from captain's warnings.
She seems to have blossomed and got her confidence. By no means is she fully equipped, in my view, to go forward to be a completely accomplished naval officer. She'll be under close supervision of other people, and I believe that Miss Prendergast will be fully able to cope with whatever comes her way.
Queen's colour body. Slow. March.
I think there are two problems that worry me most of all. One is the physical differences between men and girls and men. The other area too, I think, which is inevitable, is that the staff went a bit softer on the girls, because that's the way that men tend to treat girls, and we've got to try and sort that one out a little bit. But I think that will come with time. But it is important that they, particularly from the men's point of view, that they see that the girls are having just as rough a time and just as difficult a time as they are.
Not only have they got to be equal to us, in some cases they've got to be more equal. They've got to be slightly better, so they can be seen to be equal, not seen to be lacking slightly, because they will be scrutinised.
There were, I'm not saying it, they all were, but I mean there were one or two cases where the Wrens coasted. But otherwise I feel that quite a lot of them did just as much work, if not more, than most of the lads. They worked hard, and you can't expect ladies to work as hard as the men, because they are still ladies, no matter what. They still haven't got the same physical build that a man has.
There was a little bit of resentment from the other male OUTs that were with us, but what I don't think they did appreciate was how much pressure was also taken off them by us being on course with them, because the limelight was on us and how well we were going to succeed rather than how well they were doing, and I think they got away with a lot more than they would normally do.
Queen's colour escort. General salute.
I've achieved an ambition which has been going for a long time, and another step up the ladder. You feel very proud, but you're also sad because you've finished and it's the end of something that you've worked so hard for.
At the end of the course, all 18 women were passed on to the fleet. 22 cadets failed. all of them men.
I was determined to see this day. Everybody will have their down moments when they think, why did I pick this career out of all the things I could have done? But I was determined when I joined to get here. The front doors of the college are only for officers, and once you pass through those doors, you have passed out as a naval officer.
And no, the women didn't carry ceremonial swords. You can't do it with skirts, says the MOD. As for our trainees, Sally Prendergast lived down her captain's warning to become an instructor. Anne Massey went to work for Commander-in-Chief of the Fleet in London, and Pam Fisher did pass her swimming test. She's now on HMS Beaver, one of about 15 women officers at sea. Until the first Tuesday in August, good night.